Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Carver. I'm a Senior Business Development Manager for ARM, supporting the PSA Certified organization. Thank you very much for taking your time to come see my presentation today. I hope you find it informative. And let's talk about what is PSA Certified. We're going to start off talking about an overview of PSA Certified, what we're all about, what we're trying to accomplish. We're going to look through an OEM's journey of how a device manufacturer can leverage PSA Certified to go out and deploy a product that has an assurance of security. And then we have some final thoughts. So let's talk about what PSA Certified is all about. PSA Certified is managed by the PSA Certified Joint Stakeholders Agreement. So even though I'm an ARM employee, it's not an ARM thing. Where PSA Certified was designed to be a architecture neutral and an industry collaboration. So PSA Certified has been designed so that we don't tell people how to get certified. So there's no specifying of specific implementations. We really focus on what needs to be done to deploy good security. And so we have a number of the world's leading security labs are members of the Joint Stakeholders Agreement, and Trust CB is our certification body. We started PSA Certified at Embedded World in 2019. And in the last 3 years, PSA Certified has grown dramatically. We have most of the major silicon vendors, including Nuvoton, are participating in PSA Certified now. We have most of the major software platforms are PSA Certified, and we're getting a growing number of end products that are PSA Certified. So the great news is we're getting great industry momentum, and I'll talk a little bit more later in my presentation about a lot of the industry collaborations that we're working on. So PSA Certified is a industry ecosystem effort. So like I said before, it's not an ARM thing. You know, we all work together with the industry and with our partners to run PSA Certified. And so there's 3 different types of certifications. We can have chips, we can have system software, and we can have devices. We'll talk a little bit more about what all that means later in the presentation. But as of today, we have over 100 total certifications that have been issued. 62 of them are for chip level certifications. We have 24 system software certifications and 23 device certifications, with lots more in the works, because of course we all know the lead time on a design for the end product takes some time. But our ecosystem is growing dramatically, and we have lots of support in the industry. We have, key software components like FreeRTOS and Azure RTOS, RT Thread have all been PSA certified. And of course, we certainly appreciate Nuvoton's support for PSA Certified. And then that's allowing, end customers like you to go out and develop secure products with a better time to market and a much lower risk. Because at the end of the day, you face challenges out in the marketplace. Everybody wants to leverage the power of digital transformation to transform our businesses. We want new revenue streams we want to provide new user experiences because our customers expect it. But all that's creating a real significant set of challenges. You've got, developmental challenges. The fact is that as we move into connected, secure products, the designs simply become harder. There's a lot more things that have to be done. A lot of the customers that I work with, they're experts in things like, how to manage blood glucose readings, but they're not necessarily experts in connectivity or security. And so this is creating discipline challenges within engineering teams. There's also, when you want to talk about deploying a secure product, you have to have a secure manufacturing cycle, which means that you have to be able to manage keys, certificates, and other security assets on a manufacturing line. And this is not trivial. And this is creating design barriers for customers. But there's also real financial risk associated with deploying connected products. You have the opportunity for bad actors to go out and attack your product and try to breach your security. This can lead to things like data breaches that can create liability. You have to be able to securely manage and update these devices out in the field so that you can, keep them up to date and keep them protected. And a lot of this creates real financial risk for your company. And there's also finally reputational risk. If you deploy a connected product and its security is breached, that's a big problem because you're going to have a lot of unhappy users. If the breach is big enough or significant enough, you could attract very nasty, unwanted press. And all of that is not the type of way that you want your company portrayed out in the marketplace. The good news is that we do a PSA Security Survey every year. The really important thing, the refreshing thing that we're seeing is a much greater interest in security. When I first started out in the security market, my customers would largely tell me, I don't need security because my product hasn't been hacked. Well, that's a little silly. It's like saying I don't need insurance for my car because I haven't been in a wreck today. So the good news is that we are seeing a lot of interest in security, but not great understanding of what it takes to really develop and deploy a secure product. So a lot of small and mid-sized companies, they have a problem in that they lack, in-house security resources. We have, a lot of customers are out there developing secure products, but they're not using independent laboratories to evaluate their security implementation. Less than half companies, of all companies, 47% in our survey are doing threat models. Threat modeling is absolutely vital to develop a secure product because you have to sit back and take a really good look at what type of attacks a bad actor might launch against your product. And without that, you're really kind of working blind. So, to create secure products at PSA, we embrace our 10 security goals. Our 10 security goals are designed around analysis of hundreds of product breaches. So we require things like attestation. A device has to be able to securely attest to its identity, who manufactured it, who owns it, all these aspects around the device itself. We have to be able to securely boot devices. Secure boot is essential to ensure that we're actually, running unmodified authorized code. It's essential that we be able to do firmware updates out in the field, but it's also essential that we protect those firmware updates against rollback. For example, if you deploy a firmware update to patch a identified security flaw, you would not want a bad actor to be able to roll back to the vulnerable version of that software, which would then render your device, to be attacked. We have to have isolation. We have to be able to break the problem into the software problem into different pieces and have a small, trusted piece of software that's managing all of our security in our system. And then that has to be hardware isolated from the application, which is the part that's subject to attack by hackers. We require other things like secure storage, unique identities, and all of this was developed through analysis of breached products as well as threat modeling. And with all this, we designed PSA Certified. We methodically designed it around by doing a lot of analysis of breaches, developing threat models. We worked with architecting a solution that would meet the 10 security goals. So we designed the program around analysis of how a device meets these different security goals. We also worked together with the industry to provide reference implementations like trusted firmware for Cortex-M. And then finally, we used all this together to create the certification scheme that is PSA. PSA is designed to be very easy to understand. We have PSA Certified. It's a very simple 3-level certification program. We'll talk a little bit more about what those levels mean in just a second. But there's PSA Certified Level 1, 2, and 3 for chips. We also have another thing called the PSA Functional API Standard. Because when we look at this new paradigm that is developing with secure microcontrollers, they're hard. They're much different than what most embedded developers are using. So the PSA functional APIs are designed to abstract away all this complexity of security from the developer and provide them with a simple standardized set of APIs. And the great news there is that makes it much easier to use high security products, but it also makes it much faster for you to get to market, and it lowers your risk and increases the reusability of your code. So with 3 levels of assurance, PSA Level 1 is designed to evaluate chips, system software, and end products against security principles. So it's a very simple questionnaire. It's about 50 questions, and it's designed in 3 parts. So you've got a chip level section, a system software level section, and then finally the device's application section. The good news for OEMs is this creates reusable certifications. So if you're using a chip that's been certified at PSA Level 1, 2, or 3, you don't have to answer those questions. You simply put in the certificate number of the chip that you're using. Likewise, if you're using a certified piece of system software like FreeRTOS or RT Thread, you can simply reuse that certification, meaning that you only have to answer the questions specific to your application. At PSA Level 2, we're going to evaluate chips at a much higher level. We're actually going to work together with the chip vendor, I should say, works together with the security lab and Trust CB to do a threat analysis of the chip. And then based on that threat analysis, the lab is going to conduct some pretty extensive penetration testing of that chip. This is designed as a white box testing, so the lab has access to everything, so they can really work hard to break a chip in a very limited amount of time. The great news for you as an OEM when you're selecting PSA Level 2 or 3 certified chips is you have that extra level of assurance knowing that this chip has undergone penetration testing. So Level 2, our focus is on scalable software attacks. What do I mean by a scalable software attack? It's the type of attacker, say, for example, a bad actor may get a sample of a device. They may buy it at a store or somehow obtain a sample of a device. They take it back into their lab, and they try to break it in such a way that they can then create an attack that can be launched over the internet against the thousands or hundreds of thousands of devices that are deployed out in the field. At PSA Level 3, we're also going to measure devices and evaluate them against scalable software attacks, but also physical attacks that come within scope at PSA Certified Level 3. So I mentioned before, PSA Certified Level 1 is a fairly simple questionnaire. It's designed to be reusable. And the good news is that, by having your device PSA Level 1 certified, you comply with ETSI, NIST, California state uh, regulations, all of these different standards you have compliance with. And the good news is that the evaluation of your questionnaire is performed by an independent laboratory. These laboratories, all they do is security. So they go to very great lengths to assure their brand reputation by making sure that they do a really good job of evaluating products at PSA certified. The great news also is we're getting great alignment with industry standards. So NIST, ETSI, the draft UK DCMS, IEC 62443, all of these standards align very well with PSA. We're also getting a lot of recognition by other standards like Underwriters Laboratory, the IoT Alliance, Global Platform CSIP. The Digital Lighting Consortium has recommended that all new digital lighting designs use PSA certified chips that have been certified at PSA Level 2 or 3. And Amazon's Alexa Voice Services now requires that any device connecting to their voice services has to use a chip that's been PSA certified. So let me explain how an OEM can leverage PSA certified to create your secure connected device. To start with, you have to pick a chip. And, Nuvoton has great solutions that are PSA certified. So you pick a PSA certified chip from Nuvoton. Now you have the assurance that that chip has been extensively penetration tested. Nuvoton's products are PSA Certified Level 2. You combine that chip with a certified RTOS. So that could be free RTOS, it could be RT thread. You build your application on top of that real-time operating system, and then you can reuse the certifications from the chip certification from Nuvoton and the system software certification from your system software vendor. And then that means that you only have to answer a handful of questions for the device questionnaire. You then submit your questionnaire to the lab of your choice. We have several to choose from. And that lab is going to take a look at how you've implemented your application to make sure that you're using the security features that were provided by Nuvoton and your system software vendor. And then they will issue the lab report to TrustCB, and TrustCB will finally review that lab report and issue the certificate. The great news here is that by using these independent labs and certification bodies, you get this high level of assurance because that is their life's blood. These labs do nothing but security, and their reputation depends on doing thorough evaluations. And so by having this certification from these independent labs, you have this assurance that you can take to market and provide to your customers that you have implemented your device correctly, and you have this evidence from these independent bodies to prove it. There's lots of advantages to using PSA certified silicon from Nuvoton. Nuvoton's gone through all the hard work of doing the certification, and their SDKs. They're going to provide you with all of the software necessary to implement that trusted firmware that your application is going to be running on top of. You have assurance of knowing that that trusted software has been penetration tested by an independent lab. And so this gives you assurance, and it also provides you with a complete solution to lower your risk and shorten your time to market. Nuvoton's products also comply with the PSA functional API specification. So the great news there is you get all the advantages of having this very easy to use and well-documented set of APIs for your design. So this again is going to lower your risk, shorten your time to market, and maximize the reusability of your code as you move in and do other products in the future. And so all of this combines to, help you create a very secure product in a manner that you're going to be the most time efficient. You'll be able to easily get your end product certified, and then that brings that assurance out to your customers. The reusability of PSA Certified is designed to be very flexible. So, Nuvoton is going to provide you with a reference implementation. They're going to provide you with a chip. All the software is going to be part of their SDK. You can, in the simplest scenario, you reuse that code without modification. And that creates a very simple path to certification. In some cases, you may have to do different levels of customization. So, for example, perhaps you want to use a piece of system software that's not PSA certified. That's really no problem. You can reuse Nuvoton's chip certification, and then you simply only have to, but now you have to answer both the system software and the device level questionnaire. Or if you modify a piece of certified system software, you'll have to explain that to the lab as well. And finally, in some cases, customers want to make extensive modifications, but this is all fine. Again, PSA doesn't dictate that you have to do things a certain way. We simply create the framework so that we can evaluate the security of what you have implemented. So, why should I care about, PSA certified? The fact is that, the IoT demands trusted products. At the end of the day, in security, we like to talk in terms of a chain of trust. Your device is the anchor of that chain. So if your device isn't secure, having communication security, having a great secure cloud platform, all of that becomes irrelevant, because at the bottom of your system, your device is subject to be attacked. We have to develop these secure products, and, it's challenging. There's a lot of different fragmented regulations. There's a lot of software that has to be developed. So we've designed everything, and ARM works very hard to support solutions that will allow you to rapidly get your product to market. And then finally, you have the advantage of taking your end product through PSA certification. That's, if you will, the end game. You can take your product through PSA certified. It's going to be evaluated by an independent lab. That's going to give your customers assurance that your product is actually secure. It's going to provide you with a differentiator against your competition, who maybe is not PSA certified. And so all of this is really great stuff. And you should really, think carefully before you say, PSA certified is not for me. It's easy to start today. There's lots of documentation on psacertified.org. You can find us out on LinkedIn and Twitter. Earlier in my presentation, there's a link to our security survey. You can sign up for that. You're going to be provided with a PDF of this presentation. And so myself and my colleague Anurag Gupta both support OEMs and silicon partners out for PSA certified. We're happy to answer your questions and help you. And with that, I think I'm running out of time, so I want to close and say thank you very much for your time today, and thank you very much for your attention. And please feel free to contact us to learn more about PSA Certified.